What is going on, guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Alchemist, see if this hero is overpowered or underpowered. This is going to be a new series that hopefully you guys do enjoy. We're going to be explaining why Alchemist in this current patch is more of a overpowered hero than actually underpowered. I think Alchemist has been doing a pretty good job rising up in the ranks. The hero's sitting between a 50% to a 51%, so he's not broken by any means, but he's definitely no slouch. I would consider underpowered being under 50% win rate. He's doing a pretty good job staying up in the win rates, and overall I feel like Alchemist players in general are really doing a good job with this hero. You don't see him in every single game because the hero isn't broken, but I do think a lot of players should be picking up Alchemist a lot more, especially with the mixologist facet. Now, a lot of people, their go-to facet is the seed money facet. You start with an extra 250 gold. Now, yes, that is an insane facet. You're starting with an extra item essentially, and you're able to complete your items a lot faster. Now, however, that facet is done after the laning phase. There's no more use to it other than getting you a really solid extra item or an extra stat item to make sure you have a much better lane. Mixologist is the best facet. You have unstable concoction and berserk potion recharging faster while in chemical rage. This is going to last the entire game. Ever since you get your level 6, you're going to be getting impact from this facet, and that's something that a lot of players don't understand. Some really tough lanes for Alchemist, you could pick up the seed money facet just so you get that extra bracer a lot faster, or so you get your soul ring much faster and you might have to jungle earlier. That is definitely understandable, but if you are in a good lane or a 50-50 lane, make sure you guys are picking up Mixologist. I think it's the overall best facet, and it's providing you with benefits throughout the entire game, not just the beginning of the game, throughout the entire game. And both your berserk potion and your unstable concoction are really strong parts of your kit and should not be underutilized. You should be stunning every single time. It does a lot of damage, especially if you end up getting the unstable concoction talent. It is nothing to be slept at. It does a lot of damage, especially against squishy heroes. You can easily start getting pickoffs and easily set up for kills for yourself without the need of your team to be there. In terms of the item build, let's talk about builds. So it doesn't really change a whole lot when we're talking about Alchemist. He's one of these heroes that his item builds are very standard. You're going to be getting your phase boots or treads. It's completely up to you. For the most part, it really depends. If you feel like you're going to be moving around the map a lot more, then you want to be able to have those phase boots, or if you're lacking a little bit of armor and there's a lot of physical damage on the enemy team, then it's a really good idea to get those phase boots. But if you just need your overall damage and right click, you're going to be getting your treads, then your soul ring, so you can actually keep up with your farm, as Alchemist is a pretty decently mana hungry hero, and to keep up your acid spray and continue to farm, you will need that soul ring. Plus it also gives armor, so you can never go wrong with extra armor on a strength hero. But then you're going to be going for your bread and butter, which is your radiance, then your blink dagger, and then most people like to go for either manta or BKB. It really depends on what the game calls for. I think manta for the most part is a much better item. BKB is only being picked up if completely necessary, because BKB is not really going to be giving you that damage, but it will help you not get stun locked into oblivion. So it really depends what the game is calling for. If you're getting stun locked or you're getting bursted or controlled, then get that BKB first, and then you can always go back for items like manta, or you can even upgrade and go for items like bloodthorn, butterfly, or even items like monkey king bar. All these items are really solid, especially bloodthorn is a really good item against heroes like anti-mage, puck. These items are going to give you the upper edge against these matchups, which typically do pretty well up against you. You could also get items like abyssal blade. Those can easily give you the upper hand against some of these rougher matchups like phantom assassin and monkey king, where that stun could easily stun lock them enough for you to be able to get the pick off. But then items like butterfly are always going to feel nice against all these heavy right click damage heroes, which are pretty popular in the meta, so you do want to keep an eye out for that. For the most part, Alchemist, you can be creative with your item builds. You can always rotate items and really switch them out, as some items might not be working, so you could always get that extra gold and be able to switch out your items. It's one of the best things about the hero, having such a really easy ability to out farm anyone. But one thing I do recommend, if you guys want to actually play this hero properly, you need to learn your farming patterns. You need to know these rotations. You need to make sure you're playing Alchemist optimally, because what I see a lot of players doing that don't know how to play Alchemist, they see a fight happening and they're constantly just ready to TP. Most Alchemist players are looking at their timings. They're looking to see what is the most optimal play they can make and what can they do, because a lot of times you can look at your map and see that you have a stack to go for or a team fight to go for, and you have to make that call. Is the stack going to get me more than what that team fight could potentially do? Can my team potentially win this team fight without me? Or what is the worst thing that can happen if the enemy team actually wins this team fight? Can they push a tower? Can they take a really big objective like Roshan? That is a decision you need to be making on Alchemist, and a lot of the times the right call is going to be to farm. The the right call is going to be to get your next item, meaning you're going to be a much stronger hero, because when you pop up into the next team fight, you're going to have most likely 1 to 2 items ahead of the enemy carry, and you're going to be able to stomp them into oblivion. And that is the point of making the right calls on this hero, because if you made that rotation and you get picked off, they take your stack, and all of a sudden you're absolutely just getting crushed in the game, and you're going to be running out of space on the map, and it just completely goes sideways. So make sure you're making the right calls, and that all comes with practice and MMR as well. If you are higher MMR, you can make better calls, but also just practice on the Alchemist, and knowing your timings and really understanding your matchups will make you a much better Alchemist player. And also guys, keep a close eye on your Grievel's Greed stacks. Make sure they are always at 18. Make sure they're maxed out constantly whenever possible. Make sure they're constantly up. Just always make sure your stacks are at maximum so you get the most amount of farm possible. Really key to getting very high efficiency on Alchemist. Let's talk about some of your good and bad matchups. So like I mentioned before, some of your good matchups are heroes like Medusa, Enigma, Broodmother, Earthshaker, Troll Warlord. Now if you guys are seeing these matchups, you understand that most of these heroes are actually meta. So heroes like Broodmother, Earthshaker, and Troll Warlord are being picked quite a lot more, especially when TI was going on. These heroes were very popular, especially Earthshaker. Well, Alchemist has very good matchups against these heroes, so making the hero have a lot more pickability against these heroes and having really solid matchups against them, you can easily go toe to toe up against these heroes, especially heroes like Troll Warlord. Now if you're equal on farm, Troll Warlord will eat you alive, but the whole point of Alchemist should be always out farming the Troll Warlord, and then you can man fight him, get your Bloodthorn, or get an item like Manta, be able to get away from the root and easily pick him up. But then you have some horrible matchups like Doom, Chen, Monkey King, Phantom Assassin, Axe. These matchups are quite brutal for the Alchemist, especially Doom. It really feels horrible to go up against Doom. When you get doomed, it just completely shits on your game, and you can't always build optimally for it. You can get your team to get a Lincolns for you, or you can get some Lotus, or you can potentially just wait for the Doom to be used and then initiate. But for the most part, it's just a rough matchup. In lane, Doom does very well up against you as well, so it's just a bad counter in all ways. Chen is also a hero that brings the Chen army, which pre-Radiance can be very annoying, and also he likes to split push a lot, and Hand of God is one of these things that Alchemist doesn't want to go up against, because as an Alchemist, when you hard commit onto a hero, you want to make sure you pick them off and get away. Hand of God can really extend that, and then you're going to be out of position. And then other matchups like Monkey King and Phantom Assassin, they just do way too much damage for you, especially physical damage. It's a really big problem for Alchemist to go up against Phantom Assassin, and even if she's one item behind, she can still beat you. Now this current patch right now, 7.39D, Phantom Assassin is absolutely abysmal, so I think even if she was equal on farm right now, she would probably lose. The hero's in one of its worst states that it's ever been. It feels really terrible to be playing Phantom Assassin, but once she goes back to normal and they buff her again, she will still be really solid up against the Alchemist. And then you have heroes like Axe. It's just a lot of lockdown. Alchemist wants to be able to run around the map with your concoction and just blinking on top of targets, blinking on the backline, taking care of these heroes. Axe is just going to blink onto you, call you, and then the rest of the team is just going to collapse onto you and you're going to get bursted. But I would really like to know in the comments below, what do you guys think about Alchemist? I do recommend for you guys to be learning a lot more about this hero and be picking this hero a lot more often. You will be winning a lot more MMR, as a matter of fact, if you understand how to play this hero, you understand its timings, and you understand the matchups. This hero is an absolute beast, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching.